I will begin the recording now and begin my presentation. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am Dr. Jody Boyle, and I am thrilled to have been announced as the principal for Miwok Village Elementary School. Tonight is a presentation really of what my vision for Miwok Village is as we go through the process of establishing committees and plans, and you'll see a structure of the school, what we have so far, what we know so far, and what and how you can get involved, where you can get involved. So with that, I'll begin my clicking along. In everything that we do and that I do in the Elk Grove Unified School District, we are focused on E4, which is our processes to ensure that every student is learning in every classroom and every subject every day in order to be prepared to be career, college, and life-ready graduates. And in that, we are focused on high-quality classroom instruction and curriculum. We are focused on student assessment and program evaluation, wellness, and family and community engagement. We are forever focusing on that lens through the equity lens to ensure that our students are getting what they need every day to be prepared to move forward in their educational career. Who am I? I am Dr. Jody Boyle. I am a proud wife and mother. I am a friend to many, those that I raised my babies with, those that I have learned with, and those that I am and have been professionals with. I am a leader always who is focused on the fact that I'm a student, a continuous student, and I am always learning. I am a teacher first, and I am an administrator who focuses on supporting not only classroom instruction, but the needs of our students and their families. My educational journey that brought me to this space has started as a major in child development in the early 90s, and received my bachelor's of arts in child development from Sacramento State University before moving on to finally obtaining my master's in educational administration. And as my husband said, it took you 20 years to complete your master's. It's time for you to go ahead and get that doctorate done as well, which I completed in 2020, which I'm thrilled to have completed a study on the mental health and the high performing student, which specifically looked at the academic and social stress affecting our high-performing students in 11th and 12th grade in the Sacramento County, and the effective supports that they have identified that helped them through those processes. It was a fascinating study where I had a chance to work with and communicate with not only students in the Elk Grove Unified School District, but those throughout Sacramento County. And it was, if ever you want to sit down and chat with me about it, I love to be able to share what I learned. As a professional, I've been a teacher in the Elk Grove Unified School District since 1997, and I started out while I was in college still as a preschool teacher, and then taught 1st through 6th grades at Mary Tsukamoto Elementary School, Cosumnes River Elementary School, and Raymond Case Elementary School, before moving into administration as the vice principal at Arnold Adriani and Sierra Enterprise Elementary Schools, and had the immense pleasure of opening Zinda Ranch Elementary School in 2017. From there, I moved into site leadership as a principal at Arthur C. Butler Elementary School, and was there until being named as the principal for Miwok Village Elementary School. So I am thrilled to be on this journey with you and cannot wait to be able to move forward. A primary focus for me, as you can tell through just my study and my dissertation, the work I've done as a teacher and as a parent, is really focused on the social emotional learning and how that supports our academic instruction. And this you will see throughout my presentation tonight. You will see it as part of the work that we do at Miwok Village Elementary School and the amazing work that will take place in the classrooms. It focuses on not only how we as educators, but how I work on understanding self-awareness, self-management, that social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. It is critical in order to support the academic progress of our students, for them to be able to understand not only how they learn and what they need, but also how to interact with others and to have those positive supports. And this is a direct link to that academic as well as behavioral supports. Additionally, Maslow's hierarchy of needs leads my everyday work, in that without understanding the process to how we get to that self-actualization, that greatest desire to be who we are, we have to ensure that our psychological and safety needs are being met. Without that in place, we struggle to get to the top of that pyramid. So as a leader, as a site leader, I work with my staff, I work with my students and community to ensure those pieces are met and those needs are met, and how we as a site can support that. And I lead every day through humility, joy, kindness, love, courage, and grace. And these factors take us to where we are. As I said earlier tonight, I'm a student first, I'm a learner. I am constantly knowing that I do not know enough and there's more for me to gather. And I'm always in constant research mode and looking for what I can gather from those around me. And that humility guides me through joy, kindness, love, courage, and grace. And I'll get more into those areas now, but knowing that each day we choose these processes and these practices. And in choosing joy and how we lead with joy in our classrooms, it's really ensuring that the well-being of our students and staff are in place, that everyone belongs, they understand that they are autonomous in their learning and how they can grow independently, but also with one another, in gaining mastery and having that mindset in place. Through that kindness, building a culture in every classroom and site-wide that ensures that our students get the daily supports they need through routines and practices, that we have expectations, high expectations for our students, so they can showcase the very best of themselves. We respect student choice, we maintain a respectful environment, and we recognize and reward positive student behaviors. Looking at the love of learning and how we as educators can love our students and how that comes about, and having that compassion and seeing ourselves in our students and recognizing where they are, meeting students where they are and what they need is that equitable practice of instruction and of learning that we provide to our students. My favorite quote comes from Dr. Asa Hilliard, where he stated that I've never encountered any children in any group who are not geniuses. There is no mystery on how to teach them. The first thing you do is treat them like human beings. And the second thing you do is love them. And I believe that with my whole heart. When you give that love, you see that just emanate from our students. And the courage that we have, really looking into how to be daring classrooms and to have that courage to talk about how we feel, to ask for what we need, to be ourselves in our learning, and to be kind to others for being themselves also, and to learn how to be brave every day, but also understand that being brave is scary. It is not the easiest thing. It is not the automatic thing that we do, but we can and we will be brave, and we will teach that in our Miwok Village elementary learners. And finally, we lead with grace. And I ask for this, I give this, and I praise this every day. One of the greatest gifts of teaching is our ability to inspire others to flourish into their best selves. We are working through a time that is often hard. It is absolutely not the easiest in any way right now, or nor has it been for the last couple of years, but we thrive with support. And we know, I know, that under grace, with grace, under this pressure, we will be successful. I ask for grace on a continuous basis. I will make mistakes, but again, with that humility, I'm learning from them. And I ask and I will give the same. Know that you will always have that grace from me. For the really great staff. So Miwok Village Elementary, how we're going to be supporting our staff. Each and every day, I am a listening leader. My intention is to be clear, provide relevant and professional expectations for all staff members. I lead with intentionality and providing calibrated supports that are designed to increase the rigor in the classroom, improve instruction, and allow each individual, staff and student, to reach their very highest potential. For our students, providing an outstanding academic instruction that is grounded in evidence-based strategies, where we ensure that differentiation is provided to students based on their specific needs, and that is met in every classroom every day. Providing site-wide academic, social, emotional, and behavior supports that are designed specifically with those academics to ensure that our students are encouraged, they have positive peer interactions. We decrease their stress and depression through those processes, and we increase academic performance. And we support our families. Those of you that are here tonight, thank you again so much for being here. My intention is to ensure that you receive timely and relevant communication to support you in your child's learning, to ensure that our practices are culturally relevant and responsive, and our leadership is focused on partnering with families and supporting the educational journey of your children, and to ensure that engagement opportunities are in place to increase our school-home connections and site partnerships. That is part of the purpose of starting these monthly meetings. So I intend to have monthly Q&A chats. This is the first of those as we journey toward opening up Miwok Village Elementary School. And we'll have monthly times for us to be able to come together. There will be times that I'll have information to present. There'll be times that it's just me and those who attend with questions about what can I answer? Where are we at in the development of the school? Where are we at in the hiring processes? To be able to give you that information is critical. So I will be here for you each month. I'm also always available for anytime you need me. I had posted my email earlier in the chat, and I'll have it later in this presentation as well. Now for the good stuff, for what we know so far, as we look at the design of our school. So on the screen, you see a picture of a map of Miwok Village Elementary School. So running from north to south along Lusada Drive, we have right here, we have the front of the school, and from east to west, we have along Poppy Ridge, the side of the campus. So color coded here, you see we have the very first building on Lusada. There's a great big building here that's in the process of being built right now. That's in purple. That is our multi-purpose room, which includes an outdoor stage area and amphitheater behind it. Right next to it is our administration building, and that will be the center point of the school. Directly next to the administration building is our kindergarten building, our kindergarten complex, and the playground just in front of it. Our amazing learning grove, which is located at the corner of Poppy Ridge and Lusada. There's a giant oak tree there, and we'll have our the Grove outdoor learning space there. Just behind it, we have our library building, and then the three main academic classroom wings with our playground behind and to the side. So you can see the setup and the structure of the school of how it's designed. We have a staff parking that's off of Poppy Ridge that takes us away from the front of the school where student drop-off will be, and any public parking that's needed will be in the front as well. So we should hopefully have ample parking in that area. The classrooms are designed according to the most recent educational specifications, which is absolutely fantastic. This is the first school in the Elk Grove Unified School District to be built under these educational specifications, which is just thrilling. Our classrooms are approximately 12% larger at 900 square feet. Each classroom is designed in the same format. We will have 4 kindergarten, transitional kindergarten, preschool classrooms to support the growing needs of our site. In the front, we have pods in the middle of each learning area that's designed as collaborative learning spaces. These are activity commons. This is a spot to extend our classroom learning into these areas. There's increased visual connections between classrooms and activity commons. We have designed some flexible seating and how students will be able to learn to provide them the best opportunity to be able to assess their academics, as well as providing outdoor learning areas that are developed with seating, shade, and all-weather surfaces to extend our learning beyond the classroom as well. As we move from the design of the school to our learning environments, we have each learning lodge. These are the academic classroom environment areas. And in these learning lodges, which includes our library, we have interactive learning murals, which represent the animals, habitats, and plants that are so important to the Miwok tribe. Part of our planning process is to really incorporate those interactions with the Miwok tribe and to ensure that we encompass and we embody the attributes of the Miwok tribe and the Miwok people, and ensure that we are providing, that we are an excellent representation as we provide our education to our students. Our activity commons are designed to increase learning environments and really structure around what was so important to the tribe and to the people and the land that we are housed upon, because we are gifted with the greatest plot that we can have that we know came from that tribe. So you see an example of just one of the themes, if we were to look at what the first and second grade students may have an opportunity to see in the, or the third and fourth, excuse me, in the plant environments and what is encompassing each of those areas and what might be found in one of our learning lodges. The logistics for the site, this is where we'll start getting to this, just the good stuff as I come to the end of my presentation time before we go to classrooms or questions and answers. We have July 2022 will be the start of our year on a year-round calendar. So we are slated to be able to start with 4 tracks in place, A through D. I know for some they might be new to the year-round calendar, so I'm happy to be able to explain that process. We can chat by phone and I can go through a calendar with you. TK kindergarten registration begins next Wednesday, January 12th at 7:30 a.m. Our school secretary, Ms. Kelton, and myself will be at Zinder Ranch Elementary School on that date to be able to answer any questions you might have, picking up packets and going over anything that you may see. We will have appointments. We'll get into the good stuff on that as I end the presentation and I come to an open forum. We are a part of the Cosumnes Oaks High School region, and our students will go directly from us as 6th graders into Elizabeth Pinkerton Middle School as middle schoolers before heading on to Cosumnes Oaks High School. And some of the basics that we're looking for and wanting to be able to answer as far as our start time, our mascot, the colors for our school, those are all still to be determined. And the mascot and the colors and our vision and mission as a site will come together as we continue the work as the current early staff, as well as the parents who would like to be able to get involved in that process. And that leads us to how that can happen. So you can get involved now by joining our school planning committee. If you are interested in this, you can email Jennifer Kelton, our secretary, at jkelton@egusd.net. That is the best way to be able to get on that committee. We will begin having meetings within the next couple of weeks. We'll have our first school planning committee where we'll come together and really outline what we see as highlight those needs and what is the best educational experience for our students and what you see for them and what we see for them as well, in order to identify our site vision and the mission that we will put that vision into everyday practice. Coming soon, as we look towards the opening of the school, we will have parent engagement committees that will be putting together, positive behavioral intervention and supports committees, English language advisory committees, school site council, superintendents, parent advisory committee, safe routes to school committee, school spirit committee, and our social, emotional, and academic learning team meetings. So these groups will be coming soon, but our first initial will be that school planning committee. And again, if you are interested in getting involved, please contact Ms. Kelton, our secretary, with that information. And I have for us at the bottom my contact information as well as the school secretary. So we'd love to be able to have that. I will be taking my screen share off in just a second. I want to be able to give you time to be able to write down any information. Again, I am recording this presentation, so we will have it available for you to be able to access at a later date. You can contact us or we can have it posted hopefully on our website that we'll be able to get up soon. And you'll be able to view the information at any time when you need it. I see my chats are coming into place, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and come back together to be able to see all of you. Thank you so much. So I am thrilled that I have so many of you who are asking questions. I'm going to go ahead and kind of head through the questions that have come in since the start of my presentation. So we have for TK and kinder enrollment, this is the first part of where we are. So I want to see first if Jennifer Kelton, our secretary, is in the room. I know we have an amazing group who's here. So Ms. Kelton, if you are in the room, if you're able to unmute yourself. If not, I completely understand. I'm checking to see if I have a message from you. I want to make sure I'm providing the best. Oh, there you are. I see your name pop up.
Can you guys hear me? Good. Are you able to hear me, Dr. Boyle?
I absolutely can. Thank you so much. So we are going to start. This is, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot see her, but you can hear her voice. This is Miss Calton, our site secretary here at Miwok Village Elementary. And we will be at Zinder Ranch Elementary School on Wednesday, the 12th, beginning at 7:30 a.m. for our TK and kinder registration process. So this is the most frequently asked question right now is how this will take place. So for kindergarten registration, you will be able to come to Zinder Ranch Elementary School and pick up a registration packet. The registration packets are due for kindergarten in order to be included in the random selection, the track selection process by February 24th. Am I correct on that, Ms. Kelton?
Yes, you are.
Look at me having my dates right. So proud. So we will have those completed packets to us by that date. And that would determine through random selection which track your kinder student would be on. For those currently in TK at Zinder Ranch Elementary School, but within the boundaries for Miwok Village, the only thing that you will need to do is complete a track selection form. So you will receive that through your TK class. So the amazing Mrs. Lopez will send home with you at some point, or you'll receive it via an email, a track selection form. It's a one-pager, and it allows you to prioritize which track you would like first, second, third, and fourth. It is important that you select 1 through 4 on those tracks. You'll turn that back into Zinder Ranch Elementary School, and you'll be a part of that random selection process on February 24th. For those that are newly wanting to sign up for TK, register for TK. That is a first come, first serve. There's 24 spots. So all of our packets are date and time stamped upon return. So we will be filling those 24 spots. There are spots within the district. So I don't want there to be any panic about that process. I just want you to know that we will be taking spots on the 12th. We will have time for you to be able to sign up for a spot to come back in, meet with us to be able to turn in your packet and ensure you have all of your documentation there. So we'll have very clear instructions on the 12th. You can see currently what the district has in place on the district's website at egusd.net under enrollment. It is the current school year 21-22 processes as far as what documents are required, what pieces you have to have in place in order to enroll. So it will give you a background for that. Once you've completed your enrollment packet, and you've ensured that you have all documentation in place, you can schedule a time to meet with Ms. Kelton or myself, and we will make sure we get your packets registered. The reason why we're going to be taking times and scheduling appointments for that process is there's just the 2 of us. And while we'll be at Zinder Ranch on the 12th, we are housed at Carroll Elementary School. So we want to ensure that we're not impeding on any school site and interrupting their instruction and their processes, and that we're safe and we're following those processes to ensure that we are masked and we're socially distanced and we have those pieces in place. So we thank you for understanding with those. Miss Kelton, did I leave anything out? Is there any other details that I needed for our TK Kinder? I'm sure there's something more that you can add in for me.
Actually, I think you did a fabulous job. That pretty much covers all of the registration process, and it's a little tricky, but we are definitely here to help.
And that's it. We are definitely here to help. That is our number one priority, is that we're here for you. We want to ensure that you have what you need and that your child has what they need, and we will get them there. So I know that there are a few more. Like I said, I'm going to just glance through the questions. If for some reason I miss any questions, know that I have saved our chat, and I'm also recording this presentation. So if something comes up, we can go back and we can connect with you. So we appreciate you being here tonight. So I hope that the question that came up about current TK students needing to re-register, they do not. If you have a TK student who is not at Zinder Ranch, but is at another school site because Zinder Ranch TK was at full, and you're currently enrolled in an Elk Grove Unified School District TK program, and you want to ensure that you're able to complete the kindergarten track selection form, you can come to Zinder Ranch, fill that out, contact me. You can send me an email. You can call me. I'll make sure you get that form and you can fill it out. You should receive it in whichever TK class you are at. If you're at Hine or you're here at Carroll or somewhere else, you can fill out that form, turn it into your teacher. We'll make sure we get those numbers put in, or those selection processes put in for you, so that your child will be a part. But you do not need to re-register your TK student. They are already registered in the Elk Grove Unified School District if you're at one of our schools. I'm just going to scan through here. I see your hand. Sophia Galvez, thank you so much for having your hand raised. So we're looking for qualifications required to be a part of our school planning committee. Being a part of our community is all that we ask. So if you'd like to be a part of our school planning committee, love to hear from you. I'd love for you to be a part of that process. So just simply submitting your name, phone number, and email address is all I need, and we'll be able to get you started. If there's a switch, if you're requesting a track change, at this time we do not have track changes in place, but there is a track change request form. So if for some reason your child is placed on a track that you are currently you would rather a preference for another track, there's a track change request process that we have in place that our district has. And so you'll just simply, and when that opens up, we'll let you know when that opens up. You'll be able to fill in your form. If there's a current track change in place request that's in place from Zinder Ranch, we will be honoring that process. I do understand, again, since I opened up Zinder Ranch in 2017, I know there has been a lot of track changes over the years, mandatory track changes based on enrollment and the numbers that we have. So if there is a need and a desire, we are going to be going through and honoring that. So know that if you have one in place, we'll continue with that process. I'm in direct contact with Ms. Lau and Mrs. Kilatin on a regular basis. So we'll make sure you have that. And any additional we'll take and follow the Elk Grove Unified School District processes for ensuring that you have that opportunity. We cannot guarantee a track, but we can ensure that we will support you in trying to get that best selection for you. So I hope there's quite a few on that. At this time, we are not a uniform school. That's something that we'll go through. Our uniform requirements are not in place currently at all of our school sites. We have some that do follow the uniform process, but we do require that students follow the basics to ensure that they're learning what they're wearing and contributes to their learning and that they're safe. So we'll be looking at those pieces for sure, but that's part of our school planning committee. If it's determined that uniforms are in place, that would be something we've discussed, but at this time, there are not uniforms required. Okay, so I hope I answered the questions on any track changes. Preschool at this time, we have not been identified as a preschool site for the district. We are not sure we are at this time TK through 6. If a preschool is going to be on our campus, we'll find that out at a later date and you'll be notified as soon as it's determined. Expected size of our student population, the initial numbers showed us starting out at around 800, and that will be determined based on those final numbers of where we register and where we start out at with our TK through 6th grade. We are a year-round site. Our capacity, we can continue up to capacity and be at under 1,200. We're hoping that we're not going to continue to increase to be overexpanded, but it could. We know that with our numbers and the way that our area is growing, that it could continue, but we are completely ready to be able to take our students and get our students into the learning environment that we need. If we need to rotate and move classrooms, we absolutely will. That's something that is fairly typical at year-round sites to be able to accommodate all of our students. We ensure we have that in place. We will have an after-school program. At this time, the district is in the process of determining which after-school program we will have. So as soon as that information is available and we know what program and how to register, you'll have that information. And it will definitely be on our website once that is up and running also. At this time, students are going to be staying. They'll come over to Zinder Ranch Elementary School to us on their same track, and from their track change would be determined based on enrollment. Everything is always for track changes is based on enrollment. So if it is necessary to have to reduce, we do so, or to increase. We follow the district instructs us on how we do that. Then we go through the processes. For TK, Ms. Kelton, I'm going to call on you for this one. TK registration is available for students who turn 5 beginning September 1st, correct?
It is September 2nd through, I believe this year, it is February 23rd.
Okay, so beginning September 2nd through February 23rd. So that was different. I thought it was February 2nd. So we'll make sure we have all those correct details, because I think the February 23rd was a more recent update, correct?
That is what, yes. And I will actually be walking into the office in about 3 seconds, and I can get you a confirmed date.
Oh, fantastic. So those are students, again, who turn 5 September 2nd. So after September 1st, if you turn 5 after September 1st, between that September and February date, students are eligible for transitional kindergarten, which is the first year prior to kindergarten. So if your child is in the Miwok Village Elementary School boundaries, then you would transition from Zinder Ranch, or the school you're at, over to Miwok Village Elementary School. I know that there will be some grandfathering that will be included in the details on how that will work, and the letters that you'll fill out in order to ensure that happens for students who will be entering 5th and 6th grade, will take place at a later date. We do not have that information now, but it has been determined that there will be grandfathering available to students who are entering 5th and 6th grade, and their currently enrolled siblings, I believe. So our kindergarten, our TK through 3rd grade classes are all at 24-to-1, which means 24 students to every 1 teacher. And our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade classes are at a ratio of 28 students to every 1 teacher. And we have, staffing at the school. I'm pleased to see some of my initial teachers here tonight. I just see some names pop up in our room that I'm so excited about. I'm thrilled to say that we have not only myself and Ms. Kelton, who will be joining me here on campus beginning next week. We have 2 kindergarten teachers, a TK teacher, 3 primary teachers, and 3 intermediate teachers who applied to transfer from some of our greatest elementary schools in the Elk Grove Unified School District, and they will be a part of our staff. So I would love to be able to introduce them tonight. I'm not going to, because I'm going to leave them their anonymity in place for a little while longer. But those of you that join our parent planning committee will be a part of that process. You'll be able to see our teachers in action. We'll be working together as we guide and determine the leadership for the school. So I can say that interview process was absolutely phenomenal, and just humbled by the experience that I know that we're bringing to the table. And so it's going to be an amazing school year, and we're just going to continue to grow. As our staffing increases. We were lucky enough to be able to start an early hiring process that allowed us to take an initial group of teachers before continuing on. So it's very exciting to see who we'll have joining us. We have, if you are going to be moving and you have a purchase agreement, if you're moving into the Miwok area, you have a purchase agreement with an address and a date, you can come and start that enrollment process. But you would need to be in your place of residence and have that ready to go to be able to start when school starts in July for B, C, and D track and A track. But we can specifically discuss more information on that and for the registration process and how that will work as you come and get that, if you have questions specifically about that with Ms. Kelton or myself. So for TK, in order to start, again, their birthday falls they will be 5 years old between September 2nd and it's February 23rd. So I will, Miss Kelton is checking on that, double checking on that. But again, TK, they have to be 5. There you are. Oh, Miss Kelton.
Hi, guys. It is actually February 2nd, 2023. That's where I got the 23rd.
Okay, perfect. So February 2nd. So it's September 2nd to February 2nd. That is correct. Okay, good. So if your child turns 5 on September 2nd of this school year, 2022, or so October, November, December, January, February 2nd of 2023, that range of 5-year-old will bring you to being eligible for transitional kindergarten. in the Elk Grove Unified School District. If they are going to be 5 after that date, they would not be eligible for kindergarten or transitional kindergarten in this school year. And for those eligible for kindergarten would need to have turned 5 by September 1st of 2022. Correct?
You got it.
See, look at that. I love the head nods. Give me a thumbs up. You're on the right track. So I appreciate that. So if your child, if you have a child in the Elk Grove Unified School District and you are moving into the Miwok Village Elementary or already have moved into the Miwok Village Elementary School boundary area and would like to ensure that your child is part of Miwok Village, all you have to do, we can help you through that process. Give me a call. If they're offloaded already, registered at Zinder Ranch, offloaded to Arlene Hine Elementary, offloaded to Carroll Elementary, to Franklin Elementary, they are automatically rolling right into us at Miwok Village. If you have questions to ensure that that took place, just give me a call. Give Ms. Kelton a call next week and we will help to ensure that everything is set up. But I've been checking and double checking and cross checking, and I know Ms. Kelton's been doing the same thing. So we're finding everyone where they need to be. So I think we're good. So I know that I had a question. Oh, I see the hand went away. I hope I was able to answer the question that I had from the hand. I see another hand up. Glenna, can I answer your question, please? I'm going to ask you to unmute. There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Just had a quick question. I know that when I called Zender Ranch maybe like a couple of months ago because my kid is pretty close to the cutoff date. And they said that when they get close to like within a month of that, we can like request to test her to see if she can skip and join kindergarten. Is that still an option here?
It's an option at all schools in the Elk Grove Unified School District. We have a process for testing students to ensure their kindergarten readiness based on. So that would be something that once we've started, we'll go through that process and we'll discuss and we'll work with the kindergarten TK teacher to determine readiness. So it's a series of assessment that we go through. There's some meetings, direct meetings with myself and the teacher as well to determine that process.
Sounds good. I just wanted to make sure it was still an option because
Always.
she's right on the cusp. But thank you.
Absolutely. I have a question from Jean Gregory.
Hi, I was just trying to unmute. Thank you. I think we spoke before. I just want to confirm for beyond TK and kindergarten, so anybody first grade to sixth grade, we still can do online registration as of next Wednesday, the 12th?
Correct. If you're not currently enrolled in the Elk Grove Unified School District, beginning next Wednesday, the 12th, you can use the online registration process and portal. And I will let Ms. Kelton explain the online registration process.
It is actually, it's pretty simple. So you will go to the district website and go through the enrollment process, and it's going to have you set up your Parent View account. Once you set that up and create your username and password, you'll be able to enter the information for your student, your address, and you can actually take the pictures to upload your documents. And once that's all done, you click submit, it'll actually send me a notification to let me know that you have enrolled online. And then I will begin the process of going through and making sure all the documents are there that we need. If we don't have something, then I do return it to you, but I will specifically let you know what we need. Once that's done, you'll get a nice little email from me that says, congratulations.
Did that answer your question? Oh, see, look at that. We got the little hand clap. Outstanding. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going through just a few of the questions while Ms. Kelton was speaking. And we do, again, if your child is currently enrolled in an Elk Grove Unified School District school and you were offloaded from Zinder Ranch, you will automatically roll back into Miwok Village Elementary School if you're within our boundaries. If you are not, because you're moving into or have recently moved into Miwok Village Elementary School's boundary area, we can help you with that process to ensure that your child is registered in and just support you in all those details to get you over to Miwok Village. So you can call me tomorrow here at the site. You can reach me directly at 916, let me double check my number, 831-2103. I will be at my desk tomorrow morning, bright and early, so I'll be here for you. Or you can also reach me at Carroll Elementary, which is the district has located on the website, and the phone number for Carroll Elementary, and they will transfer you over to me. If I'm not available for some reason, I'm in a meeting or I'm away from my desk, you can leave me a message. I'll get back to you, or emailing me at jboyle@egusd.net. Ms. Calton will be here with us on Monday.
Yes.
In the office, and we will be able to both of us will be available to answer your questions also. So again, any questions that come up about registration and how to ensure that your child is correctly placed at the school, we'll be able to help you with that. So I have a NAP's personal phone. I'm asking you to unmute for a question.
Yes. So is it safe to assume, if we were invited to tonight's meeting, that our child was assumed to be in the Miwok borders, and hence we were invited? Is that a safe assumption?
That is a pretty safe assumption. If you want to be able to double check, if you have a child, again, who's currently enrolled at Zinder Ranch Elementary School, whether they were offloaded to another site or in attendance at Zinder, then they do have you as part of that within our boundaries. So if you've been receiving emails from Miwok Village Elementary School through Zinder Ranch, then yes, your child is currently in my numbers, unless they are a current TK student. Transitional kindergarten students right now will not show up in our list until they have completed the track selection process, and that automatic track selection goes into place on the 24th of February. Then we'll be able to actually see where your child is placed within the school. So I have a question from Mindy.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you may talk about it. I may, miss that part. My question is, my kid is in the Zinder Ranch first grade in C track, and we think about it, want to change their track and move to, Milwaukee. This school is there any specific process we have to do?
So there is a track change process that you would need to follow. Ms. Calton, that track change for the next school year opens up on what date? I know it's in April.
I was going to say, they haven't actually sent us a firm date yet. It will be in April, and it is looking like we are gearing towards an online track change request form.
Beautiful.
So that'll definitely make it easy, and we'll make sure everybody gets that information.
And again, I will be honoring previously submitted track change requests that have already gone into Miwok Village or to Zinder Ranch Elementary School. So you cannot go and rush into Zinder Ranch and start that process now. That's not the case. But the previously submitted ones, so from the last school year or early this school year, those are already in place, have been received by Ms. Lau and Mrs. Kilautin at Zinder Ranch Elementary School. Will be taking those on with us. As it's determined what track students will be placed on for this next school year. When the track change process opens up, we will direct you on that. The district will direct you on that. I'm hoping it is an online process. It would make it really great for all of us. And then that begins, typically it begins in April, and we'll be able to look at what we have as we get closer to knowing our enrollment numbers. I'm going to ask absolutely. Thank you for asking that question, Mindy. That was an excellent question. And I know I have several in here that I hadn't gotten to yet. So thank you so much. So Mr. or Mrs. Fujimoto, I'm going to click on yours to unmute. So I have a hand raised. Is it Koji? I'm assuming, I don't know if your speaker, your microphone is working right now. So I do see your question here that you submitted already. So I'm going to ask if this is the correct one, if you want to just change it to a thumbs up. The question you had asked is, might have missed like the process for turning our packet in for an appointment. Is that done on site or through an email or call? Excellent question. So Ms. Calton, that leads us to the next part. So if that was the question that you had wanted, if you want to just change your hands up to a thumbs up, and Ms. Calton will give us the process for how making an appointment For the first initial day on the 12th, it will only be for TK. Because we do not have the enrollment packet for the 22-23 school year yet. That will not be made available until the 12th. And that's where we'll have that available for you at online or at Miwok or at Zinder Ranch, elementary school on the 12th. But on the 12th, we will be accepting TK packets by appointment. So Ms. Calton, I'll let you take that part forward.
So when you get your packet, what you're going to find is there is a cover sheet is what it's looking like. That cover sheet will have a QR code along with an email address and a website. Once you complete your packet, get all of your required documents. So that's going to be your birth certificate, immunization records, your ID, and a proof of residence. You will use that QR code or the link to schedule your appointment. It's actually an online calendar. It'll have several different appointment slot times available, and you can select it and be able to return your packet.
And Ms. Calton, can you also explain the process, what's needed for registration for TK and Kinder?
So for TK and Kinder, it will be the completed packet. It's going to be your identification, so driver's license, passports work. There's all kinds of different scenarios and documentation that you can use for your identification. And then you'll need your child's birth certificate and your child's immunization records, and then proof of residency. So that can be a SMUD bill, PG&E bill. In this case, because it is a newly built school, it can also be a bill of purchase that does have to include an address though.
Outstanding. And at this time, we do not have a set start and end time for our school day, which includes transitional kindergarten and kindergarten. For transitional kindergarten, there will just be one at this time, transitional kindergarten class at a track that has not yet been determined. So once that is determined, you'll be notified. So there's not a track selection process for transitional kindergarten because we will just have one track at this time that will have transitional kindergarten on it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that I answered the majority of your questions on that one. I have a question, hand raised from Abby Toy.
Hi, I had a question. You mentioned for incoming kindergarten, it's going to be a lottery system, but if they have an older sibling that attends the school, will they automatically be on the same track as the older sibling?
Ms. Calton.
So it is still a lottery system. However, the way that the district has prioritized it is that if you currently have students on a year-round schedule that are assigned to a track, they get processed through the lottery first, which means 99% of the time they will be placed on the same track. And then once that is done, then they run everybody else. I hope that kind of makes sense. It's a little bit tricky, but we do a really good job of ensuring that they get on the same track. And in the 6 years I've been at this year-round school, I have not had any siblings that I've had to separate.
It's kind of related to that question also. What about like when eventually like the sixth grader, the older sibling goes to middle school and they're on a more traditional track, then will the younger sibling get priority for a track, if that makes sense? No.
So unfortunately, you have to follow that track change request process. So once they move, you can come in and put in the track change request for the younger one, and we process those based on date and time of registration as well as when that is submitted.
Were we able to answer your question as best we can for now on that one?
So that child wouldn't necessarily have priority if their older sibling is in the middle school schedule, they wouldn't have priority.
Correct. A track and the traditional schedule are not the same, so they do not, they're not the same calendar, so they don't count as the same calendar, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. And there was another great question that came up. A parent asked about TK being on the same track calendar as a sibling, and that is not guaranteed. Oftentimes there are instances that there's 3 tracks. Or if our TK is on one calendar and your older child is on one of the other 3, they would not be on the same track. but it is just for that 1 year in the TK process. The TK dates are firm. That was one of the questions that also came up, is if there's flexibility in that. Well, if their birthday's after, it's not. Just being a mom from experience, my daughter's birthday at the time, it used to be December 2nd was the last date for TK registration, and having a child on December 3rd, I was so hoping I could get her in, but she waited for the next year for kindergarten to start. So she was just that day after that transitional kindergarten date. So I do understand that process, but we do have those firm dates as far as how the transitional kindergarten process will conclude. So I want to see if there's any other, I'm going to ask you to unmute in order if there's any additional questions. If your question has been answered, you can take your hand down. But I want to make sure that we have, I'm asking in order if there's any questions. Is there an additional question for you? There might be some. I'm still looking in the chat also. Here's the next one. I'm going to ask if there's a question. I'll ask you to unmute in order.
I have a question. So my question is, currently the kids are in a Stone Lake Elementary, but we will be moving to a new homes that's actually building across from your new school. Do I need to show the purchase of my home in order to register them, or do I need an actual bill in order to stay? Because I think we'll be moving in sometime in March.
Once your children, you can call, when you've moved in, go ahead and give us a call and we'll help you with that process to ensure that you're rolled over to Miwok Village Elementary School. So we can help you with that process. So you're currently enrolled at Stone Lake because you live in the Stone Lake region, correct?
Yes, currently in Stone Lake.
Okay, so once you move over to your home that's in the Miwok Village Elementary School, go ahead and give us a call and we will help you with that process to ensure that you're rolled right over to Miwok Village Elementary.
Okay, but my question is that we'll be moving in, but can we still register with the purchase home?
That's what we won't be, not at this time. Your child's already registered in the Elk Grove Unified School District, and we want to ensure it's more for those that are currently living. And unless you have a kindergarten student, do you have a TK or kinder?
I do have a younger TK.
Okay, so you have one that would be enrolling in TK?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, come see us on the 12th. You have your purchase agreement. Ms. Kelton can help you with that process on the 12th. We'll make sure you have everything, or just give us a call and we'll make sure we have all those pieces in place.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so I have Joe.
Hi, Mrs. Boyle. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
I had a question, I guess, because I have a current first grader, and then I'm just wondering, like, and then also a 1-year-old. So, like, in the future, if he has to sign up at Miwok, does he have preference, or is that going to be a lottery?
Okay, I'm okay. Did you hear? I was going to ask for clarification. Do you understand? If you have got it, go for it.
100%. So again, we get this one all the time, so I know it's a little confusing. It is still a lottery. However, the district breaks it into two, essentially. The kids get processed first that have siblings at that school site already registered in a track, because the goal is to, of course, get all the kids on the same track. After that, then they go ahead and process everybody else and make sure they get in there as well. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I am putting my contact information back into the box really quickly so that we're able to get, though there are some that are asking for that information. So here is my email. You're able to connect with me there. Thank you, Joe, for your question. I have Adam next.
Hey, hello, Boyle and Calvin. Thanks for all the details. I have a quick question. So I know Miwok has only one transitional kindergarten. That means only 24 students. And this community has been growing with a lot of young couples and young kids. I know TK with one class will not be good enough. So will we have to fight for that, trying to get into transitional kindergarten? Or how about should we file into all other schools around like Zender Ranch? Do they have more TK classes? Because
We
I'm
have,
sure 24 is not enough.
right, and really it is based on that enrollment. So it is the first 24, numbers 1 through 24 are guaranteed a spot at this time. The district will direct us on additional TK classes would be made available. They also look at registration in TK programs across the district because TK is open across the district for our students. So if your child registered for TK is registered in TK, if there was not a spot, say for example, at Miwok Village Elementary School, but there was a spot for transitional kindergarten at Carroll where we are now, that is something that is an option for parents, but it really is based on those enrollment numbers. So at this time, we're looking at 24 initially. I absolutely hope that you are correct and we exceed those numbers, but right now we're limited to 24, and so we won't know where those numbers continue from there until once the registration process opens. And I do want to make it clear it does not open until the 12th, because some have asked in the chat box if the packets are available to begin the registration process before the 12th, and they are not. The 22-23 registration documents do not become available until Wednesday the 12th at 7:30. At 7:30 a.m. That is correct.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
I'm sorry, let me give you one more piece of clarification just because I want to make sure everybody understands. You can only register for TK at one school. So those are all time date stamped, and all of us schools that have TK classes, we communicate together. So if, for example, let's say you turned in your packet and you were person number 25, so and I was full. If you were number 25 in our area, for everybody, we all compare, we would call you and find out which of those schools you would like to be at that had an opening. So all of us schools work together with the parent to try to ensure that if you want to be at TK, you get to be at TK.
Got it. Thank you. And on January 12th, 7:30 a.m., let's imagine everyone logins and fill up the, download the packet. Is it like fill up the form, or is it something we'll have to download the PDF and take a printout, fill it? And submission, is it again online, or is it something we have to drive up to the school and drop it? How does that work? Because last year it was drop off at the school office. This year, is it a form we are filling it online? Because I just received an email from Zender Ranch with similar details, and it says for dropping off, we need to do an appointment at the school. So where we do the drop off, at the Zender, or is it Miwok? And when should I book for that appointment to drop off? Is it again on January 12th at 7:30 a.m.? I need to do send an email for appointment. These are some of the confusion which is running on my head.
Excellent questions, outstanding questions, because I know that is similar to so many, and what I'm seeing in the chat box are exactly that. So what we have in place right now, so we will be at Zender Ranch Elementary School on Wednesday the 12th, but on Thursday the 13th, we're back at Carroll. So that is why we are asking that appointments are scheduled to be able to book that. On the 12th, we will be taking appointments, and we have a QR code that we will have available for you that we'll send out once we open up at 7:30 in the morning. So we'll be there on site. We'll also have that available by email. For you to be able to scan the QR code to make an appointment. You can also call us and email us to be able to get that appointment scheduled, so we can get a time scheduled for you to be able to come in. For the online registration process, which is such a great question, I'll let Ms. Calton take that, because it is different this year for online enrollment as it had been last year.
So if you're looking to do online enrollment for TK, I would honestly not suggest that. While it would allow you to do it through the system, we are kind of in what we're going to call our tester phase of online enrollment. Again, It is available. I just would not recommend that at this point for TK specifically, because those are required to be time and date stamped. It would be a much, it's a better idea to just come on over and pick up a packet and see us. We're lovely, I swear. Visit with us and we will get you all set up with an appointment to return.
Okay, sounds good. So just to summarize, for TK, it is, I know this online portal is something new, so may not be tested with the scalability because a lot of people will be trying to log in. So for TK, it's much better to come to the Zender Ranch on January 12th, 7:30 a.m. to pick up the packet and then fill up all the details with all the records which you mentioned at the beginning and return it with an appointment. And when I do the pickup, there'll be a QR code I can scan to get the appointment and then return it at that point of time.
Exactly. And for kindergarten through 6th grade, because there's not, the kindergarten deadline is February 24th to submit those documents, so you have more time. So it's not necessary to rush in and get that. It's just to pick up a packet or submit online, the process online. So kindergarten is through 6th grade. If we have 1st through 6th graders who are out of district, and are registering moving into the area or have already moved into the area and want to make sure they're enrolled for the next school year, it can be completed online. It's not going to be that critical date. Our TK is going to be, that is going to be the first set of appointments that we're going to schedule on the 12th will be really for our TK in order to ensure that they have that priority since it is date and time stamped for theirs.
Got it. Got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Okay, next question.
Hi, Dr. Boyle. I am new to Elk Grove School District, and I was just curious regarding the tracks. How many tracks does Miwok have? And if your child is in, it sounds like A, B, C, or D, does that mean they would, like a 4th grader on track A would never get to play with a 4th grader in track D until they're in 7th grade? Am I correct? Okay.
No, you are fantastic. So new to the track system is always a treat. So you are correct in that we have 4 tracks. And how the calendar works is that we have 3/4 of our track system on at all times. So for example, when we start our school year in July, B, C, and D tracks are all on track at the same time. So when it comes to recess and lunch based on grade level, they have their activity time if they're able to be out of zones, if we're able to have more of that free play, it would be together with those other tracks. The next track in the next month, so it's about every 3 to 5 weeks, we have a track change and the next track goes off. So when we start the school year in July, we're B, C, and D track. In August, our A track students come on and our B track students go off track. And then our B, C, and D students are all together. So we're always functioning with 3/4 of our students and learning with 3/4 of our students on track at all times.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And trust me in this process, you'll get it like that. You'll all of a sudden, it's like at the beginning, you're going, wait a minute, what? And then we get going and we get moving and you're like, oh, I've got this. And then you're a pro and you're teaching it to everyone else. So it's just that initial phase where you're thinking, there's a whole bunch of different stuff going on. So thank you for your question. And if there's ever any confusion, just give us a call. We'll help you through it. Okay, next question.
For those of us whose kids are going to 6th grade next year, and we want to remain at Zender, do we need to be working with you or with Zender?
You'll work with me, and we'll let you know. You'll hear from me directly when that process will begin. Okay. And how that process will begin. So we'll be receiving guidance from the Board of Education and how that exactly will work. There will be a letter that will come to you. And then that letter will come to me and we'll go through the process of how that will happen. So as that becomes available, we'll communicate that to our 5th and 6th grade, our next year's 5th and 6th grade students, so who are currently at Zinder Ranch 4th and 5th grade. And that entire process will be made very clear in writing at a later date. It's just not available at this time.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for your question. Next question.
Hi, sorry, I have two non-registration questions.
Okay.
One is, you showed us the map of the school. Once we're done with registration and our kids are enrolled, will we receive something that shows us like where to come in and park or drop off the kiddos, how that process works?
Yes, and so part of the amazing work that we're going to be doing is we'll have our initial parent committee, and from there, and anyone else who's interested will have a safe routes to school, and part of that communication will be drop off, entry and drop off, and routes to school and those pieces. So those will all be made available to us once we really have an outline of how the direction and entry and exit points of the school, where those will be.
Okay, thank you. And then you mentioned that, I can't remember how you described it, but this school will be the first of its kind in terms of the design. Is it, and it's unfortunate to ask this type of question these days, but is it fitted with any type of state-of-the-art equipment for active shooter situations or anything like that for safety for the kiddos if there was an unfortunate event?
Those details right now, we're just looking at the structures of the school, but that's one of the amazing attributes of our schools. As each school is built, our district safety and security department is very active in that process and determining that our students have the safest environment and that for their learning. And so as that is made apparent to us, we'll be sharing that with our community also. So as soon as I have the details of what that looks like, I'll be sharing it out. Great, thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, Enzo's mom, you're up.
My question is, sorry, I came in late, so
that's
I don't know
okay,
if this
no
has been
problem
asked,
at all.
but so I have two kids, a 4th grader and a kindergartner. Will like siblings be given priority to be on the same track?
That is our intention, is it's always to try to keep our siblings together on the same track. So we'll be working closely with you in that process.
Okay, thank you so much.
We cannot guarantee it. I'm never one to say, oh, I promise you'll have that, because I've had to make the phone calls more times than I care to count to say that I'm downsizing a track when those things happen, or I have to expand or whatever it might be. So, but we always will work closely with you to ensure that our students are as close as they can be.
Okay. And when we enroll our kid from another school, for example, in Stone Lake, my 4th grader is a C track. Is it like the preferred C track when he enrolls to Miwok, or it's everybody's back to zero? Like,
right. It's for those that are not currently rolling into Miwok Village from. There's those that are already currently enrolled because they have been offloaded from Zinder Ranch or otherwise. So those students do have the priority for track, and then from there it's based on enrollment.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
So most probably they will have the same track if they have been offloaded from Zender.
Yes, that is our intention. That's what we'll be working to do. Ms. Calton and myself, it really does. I cannot stress enough that the process is based on the number of students currently enrolled at the site. So there has to be enough to be able to fill up a class. You know, for example, at my previous site, I did not have enough students on my A track to keep, so that class was downsized and I had to disperse students amongst the other 3 tracks. So that can happen based on enrollment numbers. So we will be driven by on what our numbers are.
Okay, and
we'll keep you. I do promise we'll keep you in the loop. We'll be sending out information.
And last question, because since I came in late, I would like to ask. So for my kid who has been offloaded to Stone Lake from Zender, do I need to just enroll him online? Or
if you are already, did you enroll at Zinder Ranch Elementary School and then were offloaded to Stone Lake?
Yes.
then you are automatically going to be enrolled in Miwok Village Elementary School. So you can call me and I'll double check to make sure that I have Enzo in my numbers.
Okay. But
Okay.
for kindergarteners, we have to enroll them online.
If it's a new incoming kindergarten, yes, you can enroll online or you can come pick up a packet at the school.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, absolutely. Have a wonderful night.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
Hello, I'm Ethan's father. He's a third grader at Zender Ranch right now. We're new to the system too. So my question is, he doesn't have to enroll for Miwok school,
No,
but then will he get to give the same track? He's in B track right now. Would he be in the same track when he come to Miwok? Really?
That is our intention, is to keep him on B track as he rolls over. So again, it's all based on numbers and enrollment numbers. Our intention is for as students roll back that they're on that same track. If they are not currently at a site with a track, we will support you in that process. But we will, in selecting a track, however, it is determined by numbers. So if we are all set, then he'll just stay where he is on B track and just roll right into that spot. So we'll have more information as our classes are created, and that happens. You will have a definitive once we get our classes together again later in this, as we get closer to the school year. I'm shooting for the first part of June. That's always my hope, is that I can notify parents at that time where we are and what our classes exactly look like. If we have to change a track for a child, you will always hear from us. So you will hear from me, you will hear from Ms. Kelton in that process. If we have to downsize a track, you'll get a call. It's not something that I just say, surprise. You will actually hear from us. You'll get a call from us in that process. So just to be clear, it's all based on those enrollment numbers.
Thank you. And I have a second question. My baby, he'll turn five next month on the 2nd, February, the 22nd. I mean, would he be in TK or in K?
He turns 5 this next month, February of 2022.
Yes.
So then he would be enrolling in kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
Correct, Ms. Kelton?
I was just looking at the date. Hold on here 1 second. This is always
so he was born, his birth date was in what year was he born?
2017. So he turned 5.
He'll turn 5 next month. So then he would register in kindergarten for the next school year.
Yes.
Okay. And the registration date for that, we don't have it yet, right?
It will start on February 12th and
January 12th.
January 12th, next Wednesday. It starts next Wednesday and it closes on February 23rd. So you would just need to make sure that you have your completed packet and paperwork into us before that date.
Okay.
But it opens next Wednesday, the 12th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Well, I had a question regarding the planning committee. What are the commitment requirements to be part of the school planning committee?
Honestly, it's just if you're available and you can attend those meetings and provide your feedback. We will at this time be meeting all on Zoom, so it will be online meetings. My intention is to be able to hold those either Tuesday or Thursday afternoons. There might be some early evening meetings that we'll be able to have to accommodate our parents, but I'm hoping to start those in the next few weeks. So if you're interested and there's any particular time requirements, or if you just want questions in advance because you're not able to attend meetings, we can work with you on that. So I'll just have you reach out to Ms. Kelton by email. She is J. Kelton. I'm going to put hers in there. And that will allow you to give your information if you'd like to sign up for it. And we'll get you all set up to be a part of that committee. But the time commitment is where and when you can. That's what we would appreciate.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, next, Becca.
Oh, hi, Dr. Boyle. My name is Brian, and I have a child who is in TK and Zender Ranch, but we want to bring her to Miwok. So do we have to do that re-registration on the 12th?
Are you currently in, or will you be in Miwok Village Elementary's boundary areas?
Yes.
Okay, so what you'll do is you will not need to come in on the 12th because she's already in TK at Zinder Ranch. You'll fill out, you'll be receiving from Mrs. Lopez probably in the next week or so. You'll be receiving a form. It is a kindergarten track change selection form. And you'll put your first through fourth preference for A, B, C, or D track. Turn that into Mrs. Lopez or into the office at Zinder Ranch, and they will put that information in for you. And then when the kinder random selection process occurs, you'll be put into there. So you do not need to turn in any new enrollment documentation.
Okay. And then for the, you know how the TK and Zender Ranch is on B track, will that apply also in Miwok? Will they also?
Not necessarily. So it hasn't been determined yet which track our TK would be on. If you have a new TK enrollment, you would need to, but if you have a current TK student, you do not need to come and re-enroll for kindergarten. You just need to fill out the one page track selection that will go home with your TKer.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, next.
Hi there, Dr. Boyd. Good evening. Hi. Hi. I just have a really quick question. Do you know if the new Miwok Elementary School will have the PAL programs?
The district will direct us on which special education programs we'll have on site. We have not received that information yet. I'll be meeting, I'm hoping to be able to meet with our special education department soon to find out which programs we'll have available at Miwok Village Elementary.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, you know, do you have any idea what the time frame will be?
I do not. Unfortunately, you know, they've not scheduled that meeting with me yet, but as soon as I do, as soon as that information becomes available, I will make it available to parents.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay,
yeah,
next
you have a good
question.
evening.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Hi, Dr. Boyle. I have a question. My son is already in the kindergarten and the TK and Zender. So you said that now we have to choose the track A, B, C, and D. But what are the timings like for the track A? Is it morning or B is morning? Because
we do not have that information yet. We do not have, the district has not provided our start and end times yet and what our AM and PM schedule or which tracks will have AM or PM. As soon as that information is made available, parents will be notified, but at this time it's not available.
So when Ms. Lopez is going to send us the form, then how would we able to decide which track we have to go?
You would be determining track based on the timing that you have. If you have a preference for AM or PM, and it just so happens that the track that you choose, that's not the class that's available, you'll contact us at that time and we'll support you in that process of changing.
Okay, so you mean to say like if I want preference is in the morning, but I choose track A, but then the timing for the track is in the afternoon. So then I have to directly approach you to change that time.
That you just contact myself or Ms. Kelton and we'll help you with that process.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Kelton, did you want to add something in there?
I was just going to say when that does happen, that is part of that track change request process. So the district we have to schedule based on calendars, not time. So they don't factor that in. And then if the timing is the problem, then we can look at the track change.
Yes, exactly. We will work with you on that. So I want to be able to get you all home and with your, hopefully you all are home and with your families. I want Ms. Kelton to get home with her family.
I was like, hold on. We've got one really good question that I really do want to answer that came across the chat.
Okay, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to do that. So I'll let you do that because I did get a couple of chat questions that I want to, and I did have one question, but we'll just take, we'll take those chat questions real quick and then we'll summarize. And I really want you to be able to head home. Again, for those of you who are not at home, I'm not at home yet. Ms. Kelton's not at home yet. I have a few of my teachers I see in here. I hope they're home. But we want to make sure that you're able to be with your families tonight. So we'll get those questions in the chat quickly. And then we'll end for tonight. Remember, this evening has been recorded. We'll have that recording available to you to be able to go and review. We are also both available by email at jboyle@egusd.net or jcalton@egusd.net. Anytime, call us, contact us. We are available. You can reach us at Carroll Elementary. If you contact their main office, that's the number that's on the district's website. They'll transfer you directly to us, and we'll work with you on any questions that we did not answer. So Ms. Calton, I'll let you get to that question.
We had a really great question in here regarding immunizations for registration.
Okay.
So the question actually says, are immunizations required at the time of enrollment or starting the school year? When you come to turn in your TK or kindergarten packet, your student must be currently in the process of receiving their immunizations. So what that means is if your child, this especially applies to you guys applying for TK. If your child is 4, they have not received those 5-year-old shots yet, which means that they've received their 4-year-old shots. So they are in the process. So you will bring me that packet, and you will bring me that immunization record, and I will mark them as being in process, which means I can take your packet. Once you receive the next set, when you go to that doctor and they're like, congratulations, it's time for your 5-year-old shots, that we all go, ugh. Then you will bring me back that immunization record, and we will input that so they can continue to stay at school. And if you are missing a timeline, you'll know, because I will email you a lot about that, because I don't want anybody to not get to come to school.
And we will walk you through this process. We will be there with you in this process. Know that it's an amazing team. It's a really, you'll hear me say the word awesome a billion times, because it really truly is such an awesome process. And to open up a brand new school and to be a part of that and be at that foundational level. So we are thrilled to be able to have you join us. I know I have a couple more questions that have come into the chat. I'll make sure that if I don't answer those directly in the chat, I'm saving the chat so I can email you if you just go ahead and give me your email address. So I did have one come in just in this last second. Just give me your email address and I'll make sure that I respond to you, or your phone number, and I'll call you. Just direct message me with that and I'll be able to contact you with that information. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be well. Stay dry on Friday. It's supposed to be a rainy day again. And we will see you all soon. I will send out information for when our next meeting will be. That meeting will be in February. So take care. Have a wonderful night, you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.